Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening. And I really hope when you finish this presentation, you'll have a much better idea of what life coaching is and what it isn't. Before we get started, hopefully all of you have gone to the above website and taken the Saboteur Assessment. This is a fun and insightful instrument that is easy to use and takes very little time. It is an example of just one of the many tools in the toolbox of a life coach. This assessment is part of the work of Master Life Coach Shirzad Chamine, author of Positive Intelligence and program of the same name. If you want to pause the video a moment and take the quiz, please do so. It might be fun for you to get a little bit into the mindset of how some life coaching techniques are used. Okay, let's get started. My name is Kara Barr, and I'm a life coach. I'm also a registered nurse, having worked about 10 years as a surgical nurse and about 25 years in corporate health and wellness. I decided to pursue life coaching for many reasons, one of which was to satisfy a curiosity of mine. I had long wondered what would entice people to engage in more healthy lifestyles. I had been a part of a system as a surgical nurse that physically fixed diseased hearts, removed cancers, took out gallbladders, you name it. I'd been a part of a system that continually sought to take care of the workforce by offering programming around many things: exercise, nutrition, emotional wellness, skincare, occupational work health, reducing stress, and many, many other things. Yet I'd only seen small portions of people at several different companies participate. This led me to a place where I wanted to be able to look deeper into individuals like yourselves and help you with your mental fitness, so that rather than push those areas of your life we were just talking about to the back burner, you can allow them to the forefront and really address them. A life coach is an objective professional. You know, it is great to have friends with whom you can talk to and share your deepest feelings, but taking advice from family or friends is not always a good idea. Sometimes friends don't tell us the truth because they don't want to hurt our feelings, risk losing our friendship, or just don't know what the best advice is to offer. And when emotions get involved, we often make poor decisions. Certified coaches don't shy away from any kind of emotion. Coaches also have an ability to see things from afar, like a tennis pro watching your swing. We can point out what you can't see and what's not working. There are all types of coaches, and many coaches offer various services. I, for example, offer solutions for professionals who feel burned out or stuck in a profession that they used to never speak that way about, and in fact, that they once loved. We work in the present toward future objectives. A coach remains with the client to help integrate changes and to make sure the goal really happens. We help people move forward. We help people set personal and professional goals. We help you sharpen skills, motivate, increase your self-awareness, and can be a sounding board for difficult decisions. A coach will help you break through limiting beliefs and challenge you to think bigger. Most coaching clients are healthy, successful people who want to make a change and require the support of a personal coach to do so. One of the biggest challenges for accomplished, driven, and curious people is getting unstuck when normal ways of solving a problem aren't working. Coaches can shed light on these tough situations and point you to those inner resources you may have lost touch with. Also, clients get more done than they would on their own. Like working out with a trainer at the gym, you work much harder with a coach than you would on your own. Coaches know how to help use your own natural, creative inner resources to help yourself. You may start with the best intentions, but then hit a snag, which can stop you completely or cause a long delay. Coaches can work through those blocks quickly to help you achieve greater productivity with less effort and in less time. Many of you are either already doing or are ready to do something really big and meaningful in your life, but you feel you might have to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your time. None of this is necessary. Although a coach is not a miracle worker, we do have a large toolbox and a few tricks up our sleeve to help you make your dreams into reality. I know there are lots of different kinds of coaching and consulting and therapies, et cetera, which it's truly confusing to keep straight. So I'm going to tell you in my own words what life coaching is and what it isn't to me. Even my close family and friends have asked me, what do you do exactly? They often think it might be similar to being a therapist or a consultant, or some combination of those two, or something completely different. The truth is, the goal of a life coach is very different than that of a therapist or a consultant. But we'll get to all that in a moment. Let's first talk about therapy and the differences between a life coach and a therapist. More specifically, the practice of psychotherapy. Okay, if you're watching this video as part of the program for Corteva, here's the first question you'll need to answer for your quiz later. So the next few slides are important to pay close attention to. Well, actually, the whole thing's important, so pay close attention. True or false? Life coaches are very similar to therapists and will treat substance abuse, mental illness, and deeply rooted psychological issues. The practice of psychotherapy by the many different kinds of therapists, like psychologists, psychiatrists, family and marriage therapists, social workers, etc., is absolutely helpful and necessary. They follow a medical model and they seek to heal. They are licensed and heavily regulated professions. Generally, the professionals in these fields work with people who've had a severe trauma, might have a diagnosed mental disorder like depression or anxiety. They need prescription drugs, possibly. They may have a substance abuse issue, or they may be having trouble moving beyond some sort of trauma in their past. And they may even be under some legal persuasion to get help. They get carefully guided and walked through their struggle in a safe and well-researched manner. The therapist is the clear leader of the session and might use cognitive behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, exposure therapy, or even ink blots to pull information out of the client. They are working to get their client from dysfunctional to functional. Again, these are very regulated professions, and these are very important areas of mental health, and they serve a population in need of their expertise. Life coaching is vastly different. Life coaches work in an unregulated industry at this time with much more freedom. This makes us highly responsible for our own ethics, and we must know our boundaries. We don't diagnose or prescribe medicine. We are a forward-looking bunch of folks. We're here to help you move toward all the things you want in life. Now, occasionally we may have to look at where you've been, but we don't stay back there long. We believe you are fully functional, and we want you to be the co-leader in the session. We can and often do work with people who might have depression or anxiety, but we're not treating that. We can and often do work with people who are in grief or recovery, but it is our job to recognize if you're in need of a different kind of therapy for that condition, or if you're ready to take steps toward exactly what you want in life. We believe you are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. You already possess everything you need to really live a full and fantastic life. You don't need to be fixed. You are not broken. You might be stuck, and a life coach is just the unsticker you need. We will be educational and help you with self-exploration. We will ultimately use tools and techniques to help you manage your mind and thereby help you function at your highest level. You'll be able to see your own path more clearly simply because we help uncover what's already there. Often you've just needed a little time for yourself and a little encouragement to get where you want to be. Now, there's no way I could possibly go through all the tools in a life coach's toolbox here, but I'd like to show you and talk about just a few. I think you'll find them interesting. It will give you the flavor for what you might experience in a session and hopefully remove some of the mystery around life coaching. And for those Corteva folks, here's the second question you'll need to answer for your quiz later. What is one way a session with a life coach could differ from a conversation with a friend? So initially, a coach sort of gathers basic information about you, where you work, what you do, whether you have a spouse or life partner, whether you have children, things like that. Just basic demographical information, which I don't think we need to talk anymore about. Next, something I and lots of coaches like to learn about is your core value system. This is an exercise that takes people by surprise. Oftentimes, it's been so long since you've sat and really thought about what is really, really important to you that you no longer really use values to navigate your life. I know this image on the left is hard to read, but it is essentially a list of core values for you to look through and narrow down to those top 3 or maybe 5 that are important to you. Another tool would be the Wheel of Life. The wheel can help you focus in on the area of your life most in need of attention. You don't necessarily have to work on the area most in need because for many, it's just simply too hard to start there. Sometimes you find that by easing in and working on the second or third area that needs focus, you can then slowly ease into and tackle the more difficult area. This slide may seem a little confusing, and it is at first glance. It is a model some coaches use as a simple way to work through any problem or decision you will ever have. There are 5 simple parts to it, so it is actually easy to remember. It helps you think about issues or problems in a brand new way. It's an eye-opener for learning more about the way your brain works. The best news ever is that you can completely change your thoughts and therefore your emotions that you have about things by using this simple model. In turn, you can create much different outcomes or results than you've ever had before. You'll love the many ways there are to use this technique to manage your mind. These next 2 may look familiar. If you completed the Saboteur Assessment before this presentation, you've seen the instrument on the left. It is just another way for you to recognize what goes on in your brain that you may not even be aware of. Not until we discover more about things together, that is. Delving more deeply into how your saboteurs can be quieted and how your sage or wisdom brain can be brought more front and center is life-changing. This positive intelligence program is also known as mental fitness. This is an important thing for all of us to focus on. It's built on the premise that we need to strengthen our mental muscles just the same as we strengthen our physical muscles. We need the proper work to work on those mental muscles, and then we need to do repetitions, just like you were working out in a gym. There's an entire coaching program around this, and I use all or parts of it as needed in my coaching practice. If you'd like to learn more about that, please go to my website. You'll see my website address on several of the slides that follow, and contact me at your leisure. The assessment on the right is also on that same website, and this score would be something you would see grow continually over time as you take command of your mind and your feelings. As you can read on the bottom of the PQ score assessment, independent researchers have validated this tool, the PQ score, to be the single greatest predictor of how much of your potential for both success and happiness you actually achieve. We'll also look at your daily habits with compassionate discernment. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's always a matter of reevaluating what you want to spend time on. And goals doesn't need to be a daunting or scary word. We can work with goals in many ways. I like to do a little thing called do goals, not to be confused with doogles, but we call them that sometimes. So if you want to, we can do that. It's kind of cute. So doogles are just little task goals we break down into very doable, small tasks that when added together, really make an impact. Lots of people come to coaching specifically for help in making a large decision. When a decision is so large that it will greatly affect your life and possibly that of family and friends, it can be a very confusing and scary thing. This chart is a pathway I follow when coaching people. It actually helps the decision-making process come creatively and naturally to the client. It makes it a fun process while generating many new ideas and ways for you to think about the many choices you have. It is a technique that really resonates with lots of people. One of the most powerful tools in a coach's toolkit is her ability to ask powerful questions. These questions are reflective inquiries that create insights and trigger greater awareness in the client, you. They inspire you to think creatively, clearly, and critically. When questions are asked at the right time, and it's the right question, they have the power to open you to a world of new possibilities. You might wonder why we don't just ask ourselves good questions all the time. One fundamental reason is that we live in a culture that lays major focus on knowing the right answers instead of asking the right questions. Our educational institutions have trained us for memorization of rote answers rather than for seeking new possibilities through questions. Our deep attachment to finding an answer and not knowing often blocks our creative capacity to generate fresh perspectives and new insights. There are 5 powerful ways in which the right questions can help. The first is increasing autonomy. Your life is a product of your own choices. By asking powerful questions, you begin to reflect and elicit your own insights, make the choices you want, and take charge of your destiny. Questions evoke self-discovery. They develop intrinsic motivation and increase confidence that ultimately develop greater autonomy. Number 2, it can support your competence. People are completely capable of changing their own behaviors. Powerful questions challenge your assumptions about the world and rewire your brain to look at current challenges differently. They help you focus on how you perceive a challenge rather than the challenge itself. Once you discover your limiting beliefs, you feel empowered to create change in your life. It can help you connect the dots. Questions also, questions often help you see how everything is connected, the way you think, how you manage your emotions, and what motivates you to take action. Questions can bring clarity. Questions drive moments of insight by helping you clarify the way you think and feel. They provoke new thoughts and perspectives by challenging existing assumptions of a given situation. They help cut through the mental chatter, that chatter in your head, and get to the root of a given problem. They can increase creativity. Most of us never question the status quo. Powerful questions open new neural networks in our brain, often associated with bursts of creativity and innovation. The powerful questions are not magic by any means, but they are powerful. This is just a short list of some of the questions a coach might ask, and there are hundreds. There's nothing scary here, and the questions are not always related to or asking you about how you feel. We know that can get tiring. There are more provoking questions that can get you to a new, deeper level of thinking. I love the quote here. In the word question, there is a beautiful word, quest. I love that word. We are all partners in a quest. That's a quote that hits home, especially in the world now, with the many challenges we are all facing. So, again, those are just a few of the ways coaches might engage a client into deep conversation and encourage new ways of thinking. Overall, life coaching and therapies work well together as opposed to against each other. Both practices really want to help people as their ultimate goal. If you think about a sports team as an example, the coach of the team is as important as the doctor on the team. The difference is that the doctor will help you when you break your leg, and the coach is going to be the person on the sideline giving you tactical strategy to win the game. They play a completely supportive and complementary role to each other. Mental health is extremely important for the issues that face us in today's world. And any way there is to relieve stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues is the most important thing. There is a lot of crossover in the many different therapies and life coaching. Whatever fits best for you is the way you should go. For a life coach, the most magical and rewarding experience is truly when a client realizes his or her full potential and that it has been there all along. Having some great coaching sounds kind of fun, doesn't it? Well, it is. And for me personally, I'd like to share that it's been much more than that. It has been life-changing. As life throws things at us, we all do the best we can. I don't think I did too bad muddling my way through, but let me tell you, I do wish I'd had some of the life coach tools I have now for some of the things I've experienced in the past. Experiences such as losing my father at the age of 17, the hustle and bustle of just building a career and having a family, experiencing a miscarriage, or I had a life-threatening birth experience as well. My daughter, raising her, that little kiddo, she's in college now, but there are a lot of challenges in raising kids. We literally participated in so many activities. We were busy every night of the week and every night of the weekend. Social events pile up, volunteering events pile up, personal health you have to pay attention to. You might be taking care of an aging parent. I did. Have a child with a serious health condition. Or like me, you might have a husband with a life-threatening cancer. And I'm sure that list is shorter than some of yours. I can honestly profess that without my coaching knowledge and tools, that last thing I spoke of, the cancer, would have taken my literal breath away. And it's the only one on the list. I've had all my coaching tools in place, and I've been able to use them throughout this process that I'm currently still experiencing. I practice what I've learned, and I've never felt so lucky to have these tools and resources. So that's what coaching recently gave to me. Months of life-giving, clearing, easy breaths of fresh air, calm decision-making, positivity, and happy days where there could have been much darkness. I hope this sheds a little light on coaching and that you won't hesitate to try life coaching for yourself or recommend it to your family and friends who might need it. I can be reached in any of the ways you've seen throughout the presentation, and I would love to lend a helping hand. Thank you so much.